Ooh, or ah.
Yeah. We're letting Jesus in, baby. We're letting Jesus in.
We're in the home stretch of spooky month. Goodbye to the darkness. Hello to the light.
Before we have more darkness with the snow.
But there's the hallmark, so
there is.
Light.
That is the light. You're right. Hell yeah. But yes, hello, cinema peeps. How are we doing today? It is obviously the last Tuesday of the month, so it is the conclusion of spooky month. We had a ball.
Like there are final girls in a horror movie, this is the final episode of spooky month for 2024.
We hope you enjoyed the ride. I certainly have.
Yes.
But it also has made me like the time is weird. I mean, as we said, like Hallmark is already trying to push Christmas, like of last week.
I know. I've got 3 of the new ones already PVR'd, and I'm like,
I'm ready to go. But I'm like, wait, there is still more of Spooky Month, so
there is. Yep.
I think I'm gonna try to watch a couple things, but it'll be on my own time.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about it. I don't think so. Mostly it'll be a lot of rewatches for me.
Yeah.
I want to rewatch The Fear Street, and then I want to rewatch Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City with our boy Robbie and Mel.
Woot woot. Are you still gonna watch Freaky?
I don't know. Yeah, Freaky and Final Girls were the only ones I didn't. Or and Beetlejuice. I did not complete off my list, which is unfortunate. I really tried. But I think I'm trying to see the silver lining that maybe the next, because they did do a remake of Beetlejuice this past September, so maybe by next year when we do Spooky Month again, we definitely will be doing it again next year, maybe it'll also be on a streaming service, and then I can watch one then the other.
Yep, there you go. Good idea. Planning for the future.
Right. But yes, alas, I think the only movie we both managed to watch was Scream 6. I think last week, the very night we finished the podcast, I watched Scream 6, and I think you watched Scream 5.
Yes.
I think the same night.
Yeah, I did, yep.
We were already raring to go. All right, so you watched Scream 5 again. So there we go.
Yeah.
Now we got 2, baby.
This unintentionally became a Scream marathon this month, but you know what?
Guys. Sorry, not sorry, actually. Because we found something we liked, and we wanted to explore it, okay? Okay. So the last little bit will be us reviewing Scream and a little tier list, I think, at the end.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. So, Scream 5, I talked about it last time, but yes. Is there anything you'd like to add, Kendra? Any more thoughts you have about Scream 5?
Well, okay, so I the last time I saw it was in theaters. At the time, I thought it was okay. I will say upon rewatch, I enjoyed it even more. Again, obviously, having followed, like, now watching the whole franchise all the way through, it definitely, like, was more enjoyable to watch. That being said, I feel like they could have ended it with that one.
I concur.
But I understand, you know, with the way the franchise goes and, like, what they're trying to do with it, I understand why they're continuing it on, but I feel like just for the whole kind of, like, just everything tied together really nicely in the end of that one, and I was okay with that. I was okay with how that ended. I was like, okay, I could walk away from this franchise. Everything that needed to be tied up was explained and tied up. You know, we lost one of our legacy characters, unfortunately, but it made sense, and, you know, everyone either, you know, went on and lived their lives, and that was that, or, you know, like, yeah, I don't know. That's all I can really say about it. Yeah.
I concur. And again, they pulled that same thing, because her friend, Tara's friend, I think she's even shorter than Emma Roberts, and we're supposed to believe she was in the Scream outfit, and she killed Dewey? Like, go fuck yourself. Politely go fuck yourself.
Right?
Because, supposedly she was the costume killing Dewey. Again, we don't have to look at people's heights again, but, like, I was just like, once again, when I watched 5 and 4, and I'm just like, the heights are so inconsistent. It doesn't make sense.
I know, yeah.
But yeah, hell yeah. Scream 5, what a great time. And then we have Scream 6.
Scream 6. Oh my gosh.
What did you feel about it? What did you feel about it?
Well, let's just say going into it, I did not know what to expect. And my jaw was on the floor for the like, as I sent you the Snapchat, my jaw was, like, on the floor for the whole, like, cold open of the movie. I was like, this is violent. Like,
to be fair, I think that was probably the best part of the film.
Agreed.
Very unhinged, don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And poor Cece getting murdered,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
You know, and then seeing Spider-Man's nemesis take off the mask, like what a good moment.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. What's his name?
I was gonna say Richie Rich, but that's
no, he's
not
got
it at all.
He's got a weird nickname.
Yeah,
I can't remember what they call him in Spider-Man.
I'm gonna look it up quickly because it's gonna.
I'm probably it's gonna.
Is
come
it
to me.
Rick? No, it's not Rick.
No, it's like Spike or something weird.
I don't think you're
Something
wrong.
like that. It's like
I really don't.
What's his name? Because he always like refers to himself in the third person.
Flash Thompson. Jesus.
Oh my God, Flash!
How did we not get that?
I was close with Spike. Okay.
Anyway, so he takes off his mask, which I was like, oh, holy shit. And you kind of go back to his apartment and you're like, oh, his buddy and him were going to do it. But then another Scream guy comes and kills him.
Yeah. And let's just say let's just kind of break down this whole cold open here for a second. Because like, this is the first time in the franchise that I recall, at least, that Ghostface has taken his mask off at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, usually he's anonymous throughout the whole entire film, if I recall.
Yes. I think in the first one, when Drew Barrymore's character died, I thought she kind of saw a little bit under the mask. But again, we as the audience didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
So, or maybe I'm just misinterpreting that scene. But I thought maybe she got a little glimpse. But
yeah, I can't
again,
recall.
I think you are still correct. We have not seen his face.
Yeah, because for me, I was genuinely like, "Oh fuck!" Like that was a real like shock moment for me, and I was like, "Damn!" Like what are we in store for? Like, holy, what's this guy doing? And then knowing that it's the what's his face from Flash Flash from Spider-Man, I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like I wouldn't have. He doesn't peg me as a killer kind of guy, so I'm like, what's his motive here? Like, I want to know more about that. And then they kind of, it kind of went off in a different direction, and that's, I think, where I started to lose a little intrigue, I guess.
Yeah. Also, maybe this is just in the newer ones, but does he always have the little sparkle in his cloak, or am I crazy? I was like, wow, look at that shimmer in his cloak.
Oh, the material, yeah.
I don't think that's been a thing, but I was like, girl, you work it.
Fabulous.
Right? I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence for this one, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I definitely enjoyed Hayden Panettiere.
Yes, I appreciated the cameos and the bringbacks that they did. But
like, how did she live? Is my question.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think it's possible, but I mean, she's got stabbed quite a few times,
right? I felt like they did at least a good job. Again, I felt like I called the killer like very early on because there was a real obvious giveaway, but we'll get into that. But I thought it was clever the way that they kind of like tried to allude or hint to her possibly being Ghostface. Although I was like when they go through it, you're like, no, it can't be. But like, yeah, I guess they didn't really delve enough into her character in the last movie that you couldn't confidently say, or sorry, in the fourth movie that you couldn't confidently say that she was. Like, there were times where I'm like, could it be her? You know, we weren't too sure about her motives in the fourth one. Like, maybe, I don't know. But no, when they finally revealed who it was, I'm like, yeah, of course it was. Come on. He gave it away already. Like,
So, funny story. So I'm blanking on the actor's name. He was one of the guys who came to Expo as part of the big Scream panel.
Yes.
And so I got that spoiled for me because they did ask the question, what was it like to be?
Really?
And I'm like, huh? So literally every time I was watching one of these movies, because I had no idea when he was showing up.
Yeah, Dermot Mulroney.
Dermot Mulroney. What a name.
Dermot Mulroney is his name.
Tongue twister of a name.
Yeah.
So literally every Scream movie, I was waiting for him to come.
Oh, okay. Well,
so when he came in this one, it did, but then I was trying to like figure out, I'm like, okay, so like I was trying to do the reverse thing. I'm like, okay, so what are the clues they are leaving to indicate that he is Ghostfaced? kind of
Nice.
thing.
Nice.
So at least
Okay.
there was like some entertainment value in it for me.
You still had a little bit of a puzzle to solve, yeah.
Yeah. Although at the end I was kind of like, huh.
Yeah.
When they killed off Quinn, the second she died, I was kind of like, because I'm like, what is this guy's, like, because I was like, did he really kill his own daughter? Like, is that, like, the power move to make?
Yeah.
But it turns out, nah, it's fake. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. See, for the thing that gave it away for me was when he called the girls into his office at the beginning, like when you first get introduced to him, and he says to them, well, she's my daughter, so we can call her, we obviously know it's not her. And I'm like, there's something about the way he said that. I was like, that seems real, like, not
sus as
convincing
fuck.
to me.
Sus as fuck.
So he was, like, immediately on my radar at that point. And I'm
That's
like, he's gotta be
hilarious.
him. Like, that was way too, like, obvious to say.
That's too funny. But yeah, this is also the first movie that had 3 Ghostface.
Yes.
So there was him, and then Quinn, who you find out is not dead, and then the other friend in the friend group, but I guess he was also a sibling, because that's when it started getting confusing for me, because they were like, because they preface that this guy has lost his son semi-recently, so when it was revealed that he was his son, I was like, well, color me pink. I don't think he's dead.
Yeah.
Huh? And that's when you find out, oh, the guy from the other movie.
Yeah, Jack Quaid.
Yeah, that's his son.
Yeah.
And they all have this weird shrine for him. And I was like, huh. And it kind of sucks, because like you were kind of saying, like, 5 did this really nice job of, like, kind of wrapping everything together.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they really could have done anything with 6. Like, they were clearly wanted to continue with the story of these sisters, which, again, I was all for. I was invested. So just to kind of lead it back to the previous one, I was kind of like,
yeah. Right? Like, I was really intrigued with the whole tie to Sam and her, like, Billy Loomis being her dad.
Yeah.
And I know that they, like, she had moments in the previous one where, like, he's, like, in her head kind of talking to her and stuff like that. And part of me wanted that to happen more in this one, and I felt like it didn't. And I thought, like, yeah, like, the focus on it being the 2 sisters was cool, but I don't know. I felt like we needed to focus on her more, and, like, that whole kind of inner struggle that she's dealing with. So when she, like, went to go see the psychologist, and, like, none of these psychologists are, like, wanting to help her enough. Like, they all think she's just, like, batshit crazy and stuff. Like, I'm like, okay, this could be kind of, like, interesting to, like, see how she battles with this. But yeah, no, they just didn't deep dive into it much. So
yeah. Also, again, the twins. I don't know how that other guy survived in that 5th movie.
Yeah.
I was like, he's dead. And then, sorry, I know I'm fast forwarding quite a bit, but he also does this, like, heroic sacrifice to, like, protect the sisters as the 2 Ghostface are stabbing him. And he still lives.
Yeah.
Because he's in the ambulance, just giving a thumbs up. I'm like, I think these Ghostfaces are really sucking. They can't kill anyone worth shit. Like, what the fuck? I was like, like, okay.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. I'm not a fucking... I'll say a doctor? I'm not a doctor. But to me, it looked like he got stabbed a good 9+ times.
Yeah,
and you're really telling me he's
serious.
just sitting in the fucking ambulance at the end?
Yeah.
Like,
what are they feeding these kids nowadays?
Right? Feeding them plot armor. That's what they're fucking feeding them. But yeah, I like the way you put it. And I think that maybe that was my issue with 6. That 5 kind of just wrapped it up really nicely. So they literally could have done anything with 6. Again, continuing the sister stories. But again, it was...
Because it was nice still that they had... Because, yeah, Neve Campbell wasn't in this one at all, was she?
No, this is the first one that she hasn't made an appearance. So
yeah, but, like...
interesting.
And, like... Having obviously Courtney Cox in it, and we kind of see that it's not actually her demise, because you find out that she's still alive at the end, right? Like, she lives.
Yeah.
So again, like, I probably would have, I don't know, I would have maybe liked it if, like, I still think 5, they could have ended it at 5, but for this movie, like, I would have probably been happier if she died. As horrible as that sounds.
Maybe Courtney Cox would be too. She's like, I'm done with this shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because like that whole scene in her apartment again was like really like violent and intense.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, the three most violent scenes in this movie were the cold open, that, and then at the end when Sam's like stabbing what's his face, and she's just like, I'm like, whoa, like
in the Ghostface like costume too.
The costume too, yeah. See, but again, like that could have been something really cool if they had like delved a little bit more with the whole like, Billy thing. Like I would have been like, oh, okay, like, oh, she's like, woo, you know, but
like it seemed like she was embracing it, but at the end it looks like she takes the mask, but then she just drops it and goes,
yeah,
peace out.
Yeah.
I'm like, so did we want to go down this route, or again, are you doing mind games on top of mind games? Like, right? What's happening?
Right?
Yeah, maybe that was my problem with 6. It was just 5 had nicely tied it all together, and they could literally have done whatever they wanted with 6, but it still felt like they were like, we're gonna hold on to that 5th one, and it's like, you don't have to, because that'd be like my only argument against killing Courtney Cox's character, because it's like then they're just following the steps of 5 again.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Which could be very annoying. And that woman don't die. She don't fucking die. What was my thought? And again, maybe this is a very unfair note to give this movie. Maybe my other part was struggling with this film is the fact that I think this might be the end of this particular arc. Because
you think
so? In Scream 7, it's confirmed that both Jenna and the other actress who's playing Sam, they're not coming back.
Oh, okay. So it's like a whole new group of people.
Potentially. I don't know. Maybe they'll try to salvage, right? So that's maybe another which again is not a very fair critique to make of the film, because at the time we didn't know that kind of shit was going to happen. But yeah, it kind of makes me, I was just kind of like, oh, this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Now again, they do say it was, not for personal reasons, but not that I want to delve too much into it in the podcast, but I think unfortunately at the end of the day we're never going to get a legit answer on that question, so we can only work with what we got. And so unfortunately what we got is that the two sisters who, like I said, that kind of seemed like that was kind of the new anchor for this kind of arc of the Scream films, they're both not showing up in the next one, so So I'm kind of interested of what this next one's going to be, but I'm also very hesitant of what this next movie is going to be.
Right? Because, and again, too, like, I don't know, maybe you'll disagree with me. Obviously having the person who's, like, the film buff to kind of explain, like, oh, this is the requel sequel. This is what happens. These is what's to expected. And like Randy obviously was the first, and then his niece, his niece was in the second. But again, I'm like, I felt like we didn't need all the explanation for that. Because again, like, it just to me, because again, like we've said, we agree that like 1 to 5 seemed to have been like wrapped everything up nicely in a big bow, and it felt like they used her as the wealth of information, but it was like to justify why they did a 6th one almost, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I also, maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like apart from that scene, like, I don't know, they didn't have their normal, like, like questioning. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, like, what it is. Like, I feel like on one hand, it feels like maybe this movie, they're like, we're in the Scream franchise, but we are the sequel reboot thing, and they want to, like, steer away from what made Scream really good, if that makes sense. Like, I feel there was, maybe, evidence to that, like, the violence ramped up so unnecessarily, But I feel like in the other films, they just made more comments about, like, what was happening. So it didn't feel like it was, like, one character just being like, blah, here's all the rules, blah. There was, like, many characters who at least were, like, learning or, like, I don't know, contributing more to that conversation. Whereas, they just had that conversation, and then it was kind of, to me, done.
Yeah.
Like, nothing else mattered about those things until maybe the end, not even, kind of thing. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever, but
No, yeah, it does too. Or it does, because I feel like I also, obviously, I said I kind of called who I thought the killer was in the beginning, but I found myself not questioning any new character that was brought in as much as I did in the other ones.
yeah.
Which I think is kind of part of the fun too, right? Like in the fourth one, and like with all of them, it's like, oh, maybe it's him. Oh, maybe it's him, and then they kind of like force you to kind of suspect certain ones, but then you also kind of are trying to like make your own guesses as to who you think it is too. And I don't know, I just felt like, again, maybe it's because I called him early on or whatever, but I'm like, Sam's boyfriend. No, he seems fine. He's good. I wasn't I questioned none of them. Like,
I loved that scene. That was great. Like, they were like, oh, strangers. And then Amelia started making out with him. And I was like, okay, what the fuck's going on? And I was like, oh, you guys have already been seeing each other. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I was like, that was wild. She's just like, let's just start making out in this hallway. And I was like, has she? Like, as you said, has she broke? Like, what the fuck just happened?
She broke the rule immediately?
Right? But then I was like, the only reason I was sus of him is because I was like, oh, you played Adrian in Arrow.
Adrian Chase, yeah.
So I know you can be a villain.
Yeah.
But maybe they're trying to do that. But yeah, I think maybe that's what it is. Maybe because, like, Scream is like a whodunit kind of mystery, it definitely felt they did a whole lot less of that in this film.
Yes. And which is interesting too, because I know we talked about part of what makes the Scream franchise interesting as it's gone on is that it's kind of tried to adapt itself to the type of horror that's like in at that time. And I know that I can't remember if it was in the movie that they talked about it or if it was a different one where elevated horror is more of the thing nowadays.
That was definitely in 5.
Okay, yeah. And so I'm like, that's kind of what I was feeling from these movies, specifically the 6th one, was it's more of an they tried to doing like an elevated horror, and but that it kind of, I felt it diluted the whodunit part, which is the whole like fun of Scream.
Yeah. And like thinking to the end, right? Like they were only trying to kill. Like usually when the killer has their speech, or like every time I'm just like, wow, they really like pegged that for the time, right? Like the obsession of like being famous for no reason. Oh god, I'm blanking. Like all their like end speeches.
Yeah, because the 5th one was about like being a devoted fan and wanting to have justice for the ending that they wanted because the movie they got was not what they wanted. The 4th one was wanting to be famous for no reason. The 3rd one was wanting like the family that he never got.
Yeah.
And then
rewriting his story in a way.
Yeah.
And rewrite his story.
And the 2nd one was
like revenge.
Revenge, yeah.
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 And the first one was the movies made me do it.
Yeah.
Whereas like their ending, like they vaguely touched upon, mostly it was just like, yeah, social media, people will believe anything. But I felt like they were just more trying to avenge Jack Quaid's character at the end of the movie. So I was kind of like, eh.
Which is kind of a repeat of the sequel, like the 2nd one, I guess, technically. But I don't know if that was like on purpose or just coincidence.
I think I'm gonna say coinky dink. A coinky dink.
Yeah.
But at least like with that, right, it was, these two like the film guy kind of had his own reason, but then, I love like the double cross, like, was great, but like no one double crossed each other. It was very rude. The guys who did 5, who I thought did a fantastic job, I had to look it up. They're the same guys who did 6.
Okay.
Which I find really odd to me. Because again, I was really complimenting like their idea of like, I still love, like I said, like they had like the black jacket and the white hat and like some of the backgrounds of the scene to like make you second guess. And I felt like they, like that horror was a lot better versus the 6th one, which is interesting because it was from the same guys. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. It dipped a little bit in quality for me.
I would agree, because and again, if maybe that's because of the whole, they were trying to match the focus around the type of horror that was in at that time. So, because I know that like I think at least I'd have to go back and see like when 5 came out again. I know it's only been in the last few years, but that kind of like trick of the eye type of horror was like big with like The Conjuring and like Insidious, and like those were the big movies at the time, and The Nun and everything. So that kind of works with those movies, and then like I guess maybe that they're just trying to follow the trend, right?
Maybe. But yeah. Didn't like it as much, but I think again the intro was wild. Kirby being back, even though I didn't want to question it too much, I was very happy to see her back, you know. And yeah, no offense, like Ghostface, you gotta actually kill people. Like I think in total they killed what, one person?
Yeah, like legitly.
Two, including Courtney Cox's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like they didn't manage to kill. Again, I don't want to support violence, but you're not doing a good job.
Yeah.
0 out of 10, you know?
Right? And even like again like the motives for like Jack Quaid's character and the girl who was working along with him. You were like, "Oh god, like whoa." But I don't know, yeah, like the whole I know that they were doing the whole, "Oh, he was my son. We need revenge for my son." I'm like, it's been done already.
It seemed weak sauce.
Yeah.
If they could have added to it somehow, maybe. Because then they're just repeating too.
Right? Exactly. Which, again, like I said, it could be intentional. I don't know. I guess we'll wait to see if they do that, like, if they follow the same thing in the 7th one, but...
Maybe. Because at least, from the first to the second Scream, it made more sense, I guess. In a way. I don't know. They at least didn't do it as a straight revenge plot, I guess. Like, there was other angles to it. Yeah. Still more twists and turns, whereas, I just kind of felt like it was just a straight up, and I was like, oh, that's it?
Yeah.
So, like, to be fair, like, I don't know what the solution is, unless, like, they were like, we want to, like, immortalize him forever, or something, so we have to do this last action to, like, and again, maybe at the time it wasn't as big, but, with AI and stuff, like, maybe... they bring back some of these killers and like, or sorry, not bring back killers, but because unfortunately, because people use AI for bad things, maybe they start using AI and social media to like pin other, be like, oh, like we have footage of you killing this person, that's not me, and they have to like break it down because like AI, you can do whatever you want now. Well, not whatever you want, but you know what I mean, like then that's another way to like throw suspicion on other characters, and you're like, okay, well this one's very tech savvy, but yeah, I don't know, they needed something more. Needed something more.
I'm genuinely curious to know what they're gonna do, but yes, I'm also very hesitant because all in all, 1 to 5 tied everything up very nicely and was good. I enjoyed the 1 to 5 for sure.
Hells yeah. Okay, so we have a little bit of time, so should we try to knock out a tier list of what was our favorites this year and least favorites?
Sure.
I know, I think for me personally, my least favorite was probably Halloween 2 this year.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna throw Friday the 13th Part 2 as well. See, I
actually enjoyed it. Not too I was pleasantly surprised upon rewatch. I'm like, this one's actually really good, and I think I've heard people say that Part 2 is the better one of the franchise.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's still, like I said, I think bottom tier is Halloween 2, and then I think and again, this is just comparing it to all the movies we watched this month, not all time.
Bottom tier for me is My Best Friend's Exorcism, for sure.
What? That's crazy. I think, obviously all the Scream films, definitely enjoyable. Yeah, maybe I'll put Scream 6 after Friday the 13th.
Agreed.
Oh, big sneeze.
I know I didn't really get the chance to talk about it, but I would probably, if we're doing a dark horse category, I would probably put Lisa Frankenstein as my dark horse.
Oh, nice.
I really liked it.
I'll say the Babysitter Killer Queen is my dark horse.
Yeah?
Of how much I like enjoyed the shenanigans of it.
Nice.
And 2 just ramped it up to like another degree, which was awesome. It's hard to put Werewolf by Night somewhere just because I think I was just confused by like what the trailer was versus what the actual thing was. So miscommunication. But yeah, all the Scream films up top. Okay, if I have to pick one Scream, I don't know what my favorite one was, though. I did really like 2. Yeah, I'll go with my gut. I like 2 a lot.
Yeah?
2 will be my favorite one.
I think...
Yeah, 2 is my favorite. 6 probably my least favorite.
Yeah? Mine will probably be, I'm going to go with the original first, the fourth one, and then the fifth one.
Nice.
The third one was all right. I didn't mind it, like, the whole Hollywood kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
still, I don't know, there was just something about the fourth one that really, like, sucked me into it, and then same with the fifth one. I did enjoy upon rewatch, yeah.
I think fifth would be my next favorite.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Nice.
But hell yeah, that is the end of Spooky Month.
That's it. Ta-da!
Woo! Honestly, applause for everyone. Again, more applause for Kendra for that amazing opening.
Thank you.
All of our dope-ass thumbnails. We're gonna applause to that.
Yeah.
Yay. And applause to you guys. Thank you for going on this journey with us. Like we said, we hope you enjoy it, because I think we're going to do it again next year. I had a lot of fun doing this.
Me too, yeah.
Like I said, there's still a couple on my list I didn't get to, but at the same time, I also, again, filled it in with watching my Babysitter Killer sequel and all the Scream films. So I did make my 10, but just different films that I thought it was going to be, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, by the time this is out, there's still a couple more days of Spooky Month, so what are you guys going to be watching before, you know, the Mariah Carey breaks through and we have Christmas? But yeah, let us know in the comments down below. We hope you enjoyed Spooky Month. Leave us a little like-see for all our hard work, and consider subscribing to two pretty cool gals, in my opinion. But anyways, guys, watch all the content, and we'll see you next time.
And have a happy Halloween!
Yes!
Ooh.
Monkey, and slime!